So what is up guys, it's Ghosty here, and today I have what is probably the most competitive game of Marvel Rivals that I have ever played in my entire career, maybe even for a while. But here we're going to focus on my team, well more specifically me the first two games, as I kind of explain what's going on our side, and then on the third game I'm kind of going to bounce around a bit and show you how this game ended the way it did.
Coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong. You guys are the coolest. You need to stop that vehicle.
Alright, so first engagement coming up here. I am playing Cloak and Dagger. This was, as you might have saw in the background, just a bit of a filler pick, just because I saw my team didn't have support. So I'm gonna be a little back and forth on kind of my role here, but I do think I do a good job. Maybe a little bit of far pushing for me. But like I said, this is probably the class I play the least, just because surprisingly it's the one that's typically always filled up for me. But as of recently, I've had to fill this role a bit more than I would like to. So as a Cloak and Dagger, you really want to save your ability heals for your larger health targets that are somewhat closer and less mobile, while you want to use your regular primary attack slash heal item to go for the more mobile but lower health targets. And once you get into a position, or like make a position where you can switch to Cloak, I'd say make it fast. You want to first throw out your little shadow wall, as I like to call it, to debuff your target, and then do the consistent damage which we all know that Cloak has, which is very similar to Scarlet Witch, where you don't have to reload and it kind of does all the aiming for you. But then, as you can see here, everyone starts to get a little yellow. Pop your ult, and this is yet another time you want to go into that Cloak mode, as now during your ult, your teammates should be completely safe from all attacks for about, I think, 7 or 6 seconds. And then the moment it goes away, switch back to Cloak, throw down your abilities to kind of help get the reset depending on how much damage they take, and then retreat back to the back, as I do here. And here we kind of see our first hold of this game. It won't last the whole time, but we will in fact get it. Down to, I believe, overtime this spot. That's really due to the fact that it's really good for our penny here, which you'll see at the end of the game will have the most damage tank, and most of that will be during these little corner builds. These corner builds are really good for penny buffer, especially on this map. But then stuff like that can happen. At the end of this game, Doctor Strange will in fact be the MVP. It's a lot of work, but this kind of causes a very large disruption in our team, which is what inevitably gets us down to losing this hold. We kind of fall apart here due to like kind of the separation of that. Like we weren't very coordinated, we weren't able to react in time because of how kind of far spread out our front line was from our back line. We couldn't get the support we needed, as we kind of folded under the pressure of the Strange ult, and that kind of ends up in a team collapse. However, we do recover somewhat quickly, but we've now lost that corner hold, which is what kind of allowed us to hold them in that position for so long. Just the counter ult for the daggers to make sure that my team can stay despite their own kind of immortality of sorts. And then there I get kind of pulled back away from my own ult, and this is the kind of like second defense failure, which that will result in yet another game for the team. So that's 2 team fights lost for us. I'm not certain if we've gotten rid of ourselves at this point, but we have been doing very good in stalling their progress, though that's not exactly what you're looking for in these rivals fights, because stalling a fight really just ramps up the time that you're allowing your enemy to get their ult, as you can see. If you compare my ult charges to those of the other Cloak and Daggers, were they able to capitalize more on their teamwork and coordination, whereas this is a team of randos for me, and we are not able to capitalize much on our damage due to just how basically uncoordinated we are. As you see here, one part of my team are very far forward, the other part of my team we're kind of all in the back on the other side of this corner, and by the time we're able to catch up, it's kind of already all over the place. And this, I will say, is probably our worst build, but I would also say it's the easiest for the attackers to progress, because I've never really seen a stop on defense on this map until you get down to this bottom little corner where the defense spawns. So coming in off this reset here it's not always a good idea, especially for support, to immediately enter this room, as you see how far they kind of pushed up. This is the perfect time to push up as an attacker. Once you get that team wipe and you see like an area like this, you actually want to hold right where their spawn is, because that delays them, because the car doesn't need to get up there. And all you really need to do is have your two supports on it, because they have a clear sight of you even while you're so far up, so you can still get your support while keeping the defenders back to get the point without really any struggle, as they're still kind of recuperating. Especially in the way that they took us out, we weren't synced in our reses, which caused me to be further back and not able to support, not that I'd be able to do much damage wise. But it would eventually force us to retreat into this final area once more. Here we see another Scarlet Witch go out, and another counter ult by me and the other Cloak and Dagger. Great ults all around, kind of a little bit of a waste from the schoolgirl, especially seeing that the support ults were out. I would not choose that. I would say she would have to do it right after the support ult were out, because you see here, now we're kind of like a little pushed up too far, so that schoolgirl ult would have been good for the reset had her team been alive. Another thing I want to touch on here is how useful those spider lines are for your supports. If your Penny has her spider nest somewhat closer to the back line, I'd highly recommend for supports to stick by it, or in it more ideally, is because although you're not getting that defense boost like Penny does from it, any divers will take tremendous amounts of damage just trying to approach you. And here goes another one of those Doctor Strange ults that I was talking about. This is kind of like a more game-changing ult, just because he is so sneaky with the portals. Like a good Doctor Strange can play almost like a very disruptor skirmisher, because in some cases, like there, you don't hear the portal all that well. And especially if you place it further away and then just walk around, if you know your team will be good enough to hold it, you can actually get team wipes, or at least take out the supports and lead that to a team wipe. And here we kind of have like the final hold here. I really do try my best on the point, but it is just me. As a support, we can't do much, leading to a 0-3 scenario. However, they have no time left after being on overtime. Alright, now switching to attack, you're gonna see kind of the opposite as with their team, where we kind of, well, actually, I'd say it's about the same. We hold them, we get held really well at the start. Here, there's the leaderboard for anyone that's curious. Really a balanced game, though at this point I'd say my team is struggling a bit more with damage. Kind of a little ahead on heals, but not by too much. I'd say they're pretty even. And you're gonna kind of see that hold I was talking about here, except more dramatically so. As we really get stuck in this wall, I wouldn't recommend charging at this point head first, especially, and so it would be better to go from that left door should this happen, where you're kind of getting held here, and go with maybe like one support as the other heals your team at the front lines to kind of split up their team a little bit more. And you see here, I'm like really showing my team. I'm just focusing that I'm trying to show my team that I have their back. Always trust in your supports to do the job if they've been doing their job, because not doing so will result in a stall where you just kind of do nothing and you will end up folding. And there's one of the scenarios I was talking about at the start where I just kind of push up a little bit too far for my team's own good. Here doesn't really matter as I'm able to get the reset off before anything severe happens. I take the high ground here just so I can get a better view and not potentially walk straight into danger. Here we have the invisible women ults going out with the support ults. I just get mine, but I'm gonna wait for the invisible woman ult to go down. See if it's a good time. It's not, as I don't really have any teammates left. You really want to save the flipping down ults for later. But I see my team is on their way, so I'm gonna hold it. We'll pop it off here just so we can stay on the objective. And just kind of be forced to retreat back as yet another Doctor Strange ult comes out. But I'm able to cloak out of it along with my scroll bro. Unfortunately, we missed a moonlight, but we are able to hold this little area and not lose progress. Here you see, you really want to push up and capitalize on these Vanguard ults. That is what they're for. They're meant to make openings, and I'd say support ults are there to kind of like defend against those opening plays that you'll see from the Vanguard ults. But the skirmisher ults are meant more to counter that in some scenarios, while also being able to counter the Vanguard ults in some specific scenarios. But more or less, you want to save the skirmisher ults for punching holes in an already defensively weak team, like if their supports are backed up or gone. That's when you really want to use your skirmish ult, because there's no reason for you to not get a single kill and kind of lead up into a team wipe. You see here, he's going to pop his cheaper town hall. And it's not going to do much because, one, this is not a very good area for Iron Fist to be doing that ability, and two, we still have our supports up so we can help them too much anyway. Once again, like I said before, saving my ult for the counter play so my team doesn't lose too much space here. We do kind of play a little bit more further back than I'd like us to, and I have to back up yet again. Once again, I'm not sure if this, in general, is a very good comp for the attack, as we only really have the Captain America and Punisher to really be on point. As you know, Moon Knight, not very good in close range fights. His close range DPS is not very good. He's very hinged upon his ability to go down the ult for close range fights, especially due to how slow the ult travel. And there, I'm not so sure how the Cloak and Dagger got her ult back so fast, but then again, at the same time, this is where you see us,
Let's get into some good trouble.
well, I'd say, like, those, like, for farther back players kind of come into play, as I don't have too much to heal at this point, until it's a little too late and they've kind of pushed us back too far to the point that the back line is sort of becoming, like, the mid-front line. And that's very bad, as I have no combat maneuverability. This, I would say, is a very much wasted ult on Moon Knight's part. At the very least, he should have put it further down, closer to the objective, to scatter them here. end here will actually kill the Doctor Strange, which was, as I've said before, the very big playmaker in this game. And I died to the squirrel, which is at the top of the stairs. However, once again, we do make the next checkpoint. This is almost perfect timing for me to have died, as I will spawn actually right next to my team, which is very fortunate. So I'd say these are the areas where it's more acceptable to get picked off, as you'll spawn in pretty much the same spot. Once again, push a little bit too far up here. Kind of works out though, because I'm not sure if I would have made it to the Captain America in time had I not. And my recommendation on these corners is to hold up. You don't want to sit on this corner here, even if you're backline, because it just allows them to push forward into your face. And you won't get as much out. And this was what I was talking about, the coordination. You see the Invisible Woman ult up at the same time that the Cloak and Dagger ult goes up for us, which had we coordinated a little bit better, we could have saved these ults for like this scenario, where now all of our front line is gone.
Time to shine.
Not much here to kind of commentate on. This is just kind of a little bit of an overextension by a few of the skirmishers. This kind of results in them losing a bit of that offensive power, kind of gets our confidence back for the next push, and we're able to kind of steadily make our progress back. Especially with that Skullgirl ult. Great time to Skullgirl ult, kind of disruptive. You want them to be on the back foot, get great damage. We're able to wipe almost their whole team except for the Squirrel Girl, as she comes back in the meantime. Also, this is a great example of how it's not always safe to stand on top of the car, as that Squirrel Girl ult can hit you while you're on top of it. It's kind of wonky with the hitbox though, so you won't die, but you will take a lot of damage to it. And from here, this is kind of like a done deal. I pop my ult as on these sets to keep them anyway, and I wanted to ensure that we do in fact capture this point with enough time left. Here's the leaderboard. You kind of see them start to kind of overtake us on the healing point while still having that damage bar really high over us in a lot of scenarios. Sorry, I've been sick. Which, well, not sick, but just feeling a little under the weather right now. But yeah, here we're going to switch over to the enemy's POV. You'll see kind of how that coordination came into play. And more specifically, their team comp. Their team comp here, they start to adapt and counter our picks, which leads them to just kind of being able to fight us a lot better, even in the scenarios where we typically favor us, as our characters aren't too good at stopping theirs. You'll see really good Loki play here. I don't think he wasted an ult once in this whole thing. I'd say each of them were good, especially with the Cloak and Daggers that he carries. That's the main one that you'll see. I don't think he copies anyone else actually, he just kind of focuses more on Cloak and Dagger. And they really do focus here. They put a lot of attention on stopping our Penny from getting forward and setting for base. You'll see her try to like put down a few here and there, but they're really just not good positions because the enemy team has locked us out of those options. And I don't think we really get too much of a stop for this first one here, just because of their opening push was really good, never really recovered from it. Once again, that coordination comes to play. because no one really stopped to wait for the next guy so we can have all people there. Instead, just kind of ran in one by one, get us more out of sync, and it allows them to easily take that first area. Doing a really good job of secluding players here. You'll see that reflected in his damage block. Iron Man, I don't think did too much this game. He was a big pest to our supports, but at the end of the day, we only hold him to 1. Very much a winnable situation still. Leaderboard starting to look really skewed in terms of healing. A little bit more balanced in terms of damage, but you'll still see kind of like a lacking point on our damage and a very big set off for their heals when they are Cloak and Dagger.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready. People don't always help get that vehicle to its destination.
Once again, here, wouldn't really recommend an uncoordinated team to just stand at this door. However, they're also kind of holding that door. I do believe they hold us here for pretty much our entire minute that we got here. Yeah, you see their Cloak and Dagger really doing good on the back line. Positioned with the Loki, notice how she's positioned from the Loki games? Because whenever they shoot, she can actually heal herself and not be reliant on her own abilities to heal her and be more self-sustaining. Very good tactic here. Sometimes you'll see when healers do that themselves. You see me in these little corner rooms with the invisible woman on the side. As we finally start to kind of push a bit more as a team. Not able to make the penny in time due to the group walls forcing me to go around and stop me with the Punisher, which is unable to get the pick on the Star-Lord, but does enough damage nonetheless for us to push forward. Kind of pop this ult just to make sure that we can get this base here. At this point on overtime, we've wasted a minute. We really need to get more space, but we're starting to get the picks now. We're starting to get the space. We kind of start getting that confidence, and then the Moonlight ult sets us back. Although it didn't get picks, that Moonlight ult actually has a whole other use of stopping the team long enough for this Doctor Strange to come through and hit us with the surprise port, which allows him to get a bit more picks than he should. He pretty much gets the team wipe here. This kind of sets in our loss, especially with the Penny. I'm not sure what she does here with the ult, really, because she runs off the site 3 times, which essentially gives them the game. That was our loss, but I can't really say that anyone did bad here. Very good effort on all sides, and if you guys are still here by the end of this video, you clearly enjoyed it, just drop a subscribe and a like if you could. But for anyone in this game, you are welcome to the rank stack. But if you want to be on my rank stack for later Marvel Rivals game, just leave me a comment down below, and I might invite you. Until later, ladies and gentlemen, Ghosty out.